Hello, you. Welcome to another episode of Adopted Geordies. I'm Andy Jaye, and before we get into it, and I'm really, really excited about this one, can I just thank you all? Those of you who have come back to the show, we really do appreciate it. Please tell your friends, continue to like, subscribe, follow, review, and get involved in the socials because we do love hearing from you. I'm, of course, with the captain, Mr. Rob Lee. But today, we promised you this was going to happen, and it's happened quicker than I was expecting. He's from Blythe, he's here, and he's magnificent. It's the one and only Dan Byrne. How you doing, Dan?
Thank you very much, yeah. Very good, thank you.
It's so good to see you. We've had the pleasure of meeting a few times now, but never managed to get you on the pod, and Rob just goes, we're mates. Come on.
I was his hero. He's fine, we'll get him on.
I don't mind admitting that.
Well, I mean, Rob's going to make that count. He's going to make us clip it up as well. Genuinely, he was your hero?
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I think, so when I would have been watching it, I think probably my first games would have been like 98, 99, so probably coming towards the end. But
still, 10 years after that.
But still. But no, I remember me and Rob's son are good mates, so I went to his engagement party. It was at Rob's house. Massive house, by the way. And we're
millions and millions of pounds.
Huge, absolutely huge. But playing a bit of five-a-side at the end of me and Rob were on the same team and linked up pretty well, so that's a special memory for me.
Do you know what? He was telling me that on the train up. He was like, I've actually played with Dan.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not sure who's prouder about having played with him.
No, exactly. Well, I remember Ollie saying to me, Dan's coming in, Tom, Eddie, Amy, my other friends, they're coming sort of like to engagement party. Oh, great. And he was sort of like, he said, but he's sort of like, because obviously Alan was there as well. Yeah. So he's turned up and Daddy's a bit of an awe of you sort of thing. So he's sort of like, he was quiet and sort of thing, like really respectful sort of thing. Then we're playing a five-a-side and he's hitting them up like that.
Well, it's your chance to impress.
Yeah,
right?
I was ready. And obviously the opposition wasn't great. It was against sort of 10 and 11-year-olds, but I was taking no prisoners.
He was taking them out as well.
Yeah, I wanted to impress, so I was going for it. So.
See, in those days, he was having pictures of us. Now we're having pictures of him. So it's come a long way. It's all turned around now.
Well, let's get started with that then, Dan. I mean, that must be. I keep I said to you after Wembley, you are living the dream. You are right in the middle of what everyone kind of, if we could project into the future, age 33, 34 years old, and this is what you're doing, and this is who you are. I mean, have you woken up?
No, not quite. I think it's hard. I think you try not to sit and think about it too much because it can, be too much, if you know what I mean. So I'm just trying to just keep going along and ticking along. But I think it's when you're out and about and you see, obviously, it's quite hard to hide when you're 6'7". So, and just all the love you get and crazy.
It's something that, I mean, I put on socials. Anyone has questions for you? We've had loads of questions. We're not going to go through them all. Rob's picked one already. But a theme that I've had DM'd to me repeatedly since we announced you were coming on and people have gone public with, a lot of local Geordies, a lot of the fan base ask pretty much the same thing, which is emotionally, how do you handle it? How do you cope with it?
Yeah, I think it was hard. I think when I first came, it was like I think the difference was where I've lived all over the country. Obviously I played at Fulham and Brighton, and sort of you go on and just mind your own business and no one really says anything. But then when I first came, and it's just I remembered what it was like when I was a kid, and we used to say Rob, or if you saw Al or any of the players, he'd be absolutely buzzing and all around him. So just to feel that at first, it was crazy, absolutely it was just amazing just to have that of what you dreamt of when you were a kid. Do you know what I mean? But I think now as it's gone on, you'd be with football, as you're professional, you sort of just becomes a everyday thing. Do you know what I mean?
So when you was at Brighton, did you hear, obviously with players we hear, did you hear about Newcastle being interested in you, or your agent tell you? You think, wow.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it was when I was.
There was
at
a
Brighton,
few interested in you. Weren't just Newcastle, was it? So
yeah, there was a few, and I think I was getting to the point where I was trying to renegotiate with Brighton, so we're speaking to sort of other teams and just for some interest or whatever. And then when I knew I've said this before, when the takeover happened, I was walking out with my dad, and I was saying, "Oh, that's I'm struggling now. No chance I'm going to go back there. They're going to be going for Mbappe and all that sort of stuff." You know what I mean?
That hasn't happened yet, Dan.
No, there's time. And then when I did start hearing a few rumours and stuff, it was it was just the excitement that you got from it, and you were just desperate for it to happen. I remember we were in Dubai the week building up to it, me, my wife and my two kids, and I don't think I saw anyone when I was there. I was just on the phone constantly, walk my little boy in the pushchair like up and down like the promenade, just trying to get like just do what I could to sort of get the deal done.
And would you go to your agent? Would you go to your agent? Get this done. No matter what, get it done. I don't care. Just get it done. Yeah, I want to.
Yeah,
Is it true that you phoned Eddie directly?
yeah, because it got to the point where like I was speaking to my agent, who was speaking to someone, who was speaking to someone, and then like I was like, just like I would have regretted it if I didn't just like pick up the phone and just like sort of say like. So I spoke to Graham Jones first, who's obviously big Geordie, about it, and then I tried to get just the gaffer's number, just because I knew they were in for quite a lot of players at the time, and I just thought like if I can sort of not plead my case, but just like show like how like interested I was in coming, and like knew like I want to sort of tell them like what I thought I could do to help, and off the pitch, on the pitch, and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, luckily I got it all.
That's really good, isn't it?
I love
So not many players would do that.
Yeah.
And that's I probably got you moved.
Yeah, Dad. Well,
It's
that,
something
like I
different.
knew they were
Someone
looking
ringing
at
you
me.
up, a manager ringing, like a player ringing up. So listen, blimey, I want to come back here. I want to do this and want to do that. I mean, did you think you was coming back as sort of like a squad sort of like player?
Like I knew that would be the perception,
Yeah.
like because I think like that's just the
'Cause of-
perception it has been with me. I knew it would sort of be, but I knew that I would be
Well,
able
it's
to
not
have.
anymore though, is it? Sort of
No,
like,
no, but I knew that in the summer. I knew that when I spoke to the manager in the summer, he sort of said like we're looking to bring a player in your position. Like you've made it your position, but like it's not going to be your position forever unless you like make it that. And I was like, yeah, 100%. I knew that the idea was that I'd be like sort of a stopgap signing and keep it up, and then as it progressed, that people would think that someone would come in. But I always knew if I could get me like myself into the building and show the way that I go about things every day and perform at the level that I know that I could, that like I could be the player.
And
that could do that.
What about England as well?
Yeah,
Did you
no,
expect
yeah,
England
it's crazy.
that-
No,
that
like
late? It's quite late. I mean, I played for England. My debut was at 28.
was it really? Yeah,
Yeah, so I was really late
Yeah,
at
yeah.
28. But
That's
you
mad,
were
yeah,
later than me, weren't you?
32. Yeah, I think there was only Kevin Davies is the only person that's made it.
Well,
older.
which is like amazing.
Yeah, which is crazy. And the same sort of thing though, I always felt as if I had the ability to play for England. But the way that it was like ran when Gareth was there, Sir Gareth, even is it?
Yeah.
And not that he did that wrong at all. By the way, listen, we've got 2 finals, and like he's probably like within an inch away of winning something
so
finally. Do you know what I
close.
mean? But it was more run where it was like a club where the same players went back, and it was like the sort of the camaraderie that was built was done. So I knew that I was going to struggle to get in there, and then the new manager came in. I thought, oh, like, there's a chance. But yeah, like it was when it actually came, it was totally out of the blue. So it was amazing. Like.
You've stepped up, mate. It's
That's
so good to
That's
see.
right, yeah.
It's so good to see. Dan, tell us about the first few weeks when you joined Newcastle, because you obviously came into. I think people tend to forget actually because of how well the team has done and how much has happened in such a short period of time. But when you joined, we were supposed to be relegated. Mathematically, no one had done it before from that position and those few points and this, that, and the other. So we were odds on to go down. And you come in, and there's not a massive influx. Like you say, we're not signing Mbappe's.
Yeah.
You know, not many people had heard of Bruno.
Yeah.
You know, who's this guy from France? What's he all about? Trip's amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know, what's he come back for? What's that all about? Yourself, what's going on? You know, are we doing enough? But suddenly it all worked. But it wasn't like that the first few days, was it? The first few games. What did you walk into?
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, I think we made, like the signings that were made were very good. I think it was signings not that people got particularly excited about, but like, so it's like Chris Wood.
That's right.
Like we would have gotten relegated without him. Like I know that people say he didn't score like loads and loads of goals, but like his work rate, the way he held the ball up and led the team, like that was huge. And then even people like Trips coming in, I think you needed that signing like him to then make other people go, oh, hang on, like if he's going there, like we'll go there. But I think I've been relegated a few times before, unfortunately. In those teams when I've been around them, like it's always got that same feel about it. It's like very like self-preservation, like you deflect a lot and you don't really like take the criticism. You're like, oh, like no, that's not my fault, that was his fault, like he should have done that and then I wouldn't have had to do that. Whereas when I got there, like I could tell straight away that like we stood a chance just because of like how the squad was with each other. Like even the lads who weren't playing regularly, like Matt Ritchie, like for instance, like the way he went about it and the standards he had and sort of drove the lads to play better. And I think obviously with Eddie coming in as well, like I'd spoken to a few players before I signed, just to find out about like what he was like and what he liked to do and his mentality and the training that he did. So I knew that would like get on quite well because we're similar that way. But when I got there was like nothing about us thought that we were going down, like I was confident that we had enough in there. But I think you've got to get the results also. Do you know what I mean? I think that helped once we were doing something and you were getting the results, it sort of snowballed a bit.
So was that determination, that camaraderie and so on already in the dressing room when you came, or did Eddie bring that, do you think?
No, I think it was probably always there.
Right.
But I just think, obviously, when you with different managers, there's different approaches. But I think there was lads there who wanted to be better footballers and wanted to do well for the club. I don't think there was anyone in there I thought who were playing for themselves. Like, they all wanted to do it. Like, lads I was like surprised about just from being on the outside. Like, I remember like I'd never met John Joe before. But like from the way you see him on the pitch and stuff, you just think he's like quite relaxed and like not bothered. But you got there and I sat beside him in the change room and you see like how much like he just wanted to do well for Newcastle and like how much of a sort of great guy he was. And I think when you saw the characters that were in there, like you had that feeling that if we strung some results together, like we could sort of really pick it up.
There's all this sort of mystery and excitement about the magic that Eddie can weave behind the scenes, and we often hear these incredible stories about how he gets all the players to be emotional with each other and share key moments in their lives and so on. Is that unique to Eddie, or have you found that in other teams and other squads?
No, I think Graham Potter was similar. I think when I was there, he was probably the first manager I had like that, where it was like he'd sort of take you out your comfort zone a little bit with some of the like conversations you'd have or some of the things he'd like you to do in groups, but like it brought you like a lot closer together. Like I always feel with a gaffer, like it's like who I am as a footballer is like secondary. It's always about like me as a person, and I always feel like he's pushing me constantly to be like a better leader and a better person. And as I said, take us out of my comfort zone. And like sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I don't really want to do this.
How's he doing that, Dan? Is he having private chats with you?
Yeah,
Is he
like,
stringing you out in front of people?
Yeah, conversations he's have. Or say like there's like for an example, there was something I love like NFL. Like I quite like the way that the Americans do it, and like I find them quite motivational. Like some of the head coaches when they get up and speak. So if I see something, sometimes I'll just like fire it over the gaffer and be like, "Oh, listen, like, I think this would be a good thing to show the lads." And then he texts back saying, "Yeah, like looks great. Like you should do it." I don't really want to do that.
When he says that to you, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously part of you thinking, "I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
But it's part of you thinking, "He's just not bothered to watch this. He's telling me to do it."
No, not with the gaffer, because I feel like he's. Yeah, like the response that you get off him like feels like genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's genuinely looking out for the lads there and wants them to be like better people and better players. So I feel comfortable sending him that. And if he did send that back, I'd be like, so there's sometimes that I've sent him and he'd be like, yeah, like I think it's good, but I don't think it probably applies to where we are right now. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
So is that why you got him done your dance in the change room?
Yeah, not quite. That killed us as well, man. Honestly,
That's the best. By the way, that is so famous.
The
now.
worst, best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Like he wanted us to get up and speak, but someone shouted dance. So I just, I'll just dance. Yeah, and I never let that down.
Do you have to do that all? I mean, look, I'm sure you get asked to do it endlessly, and it'd be wrong of me not to ask you to teach Rob to do it.
No. Rob needs a god for that.
Knees and hips from Rob and Milton do it.
How did you break Rob Lee? He was doing the damn bird.
Do the damn bird.
I mean, we maybe later we might.
It's up there, isn't it? You know, with Peter Crouch, the robot.
Yeah.
Yours is up there. Like,
exactly.
Dan Bell, the dance. Yeah.
You do need it.
Yeah.
You do need it. Dan, I don't know if you know, but we had the privilege of chatting to Eddie on the show about a year ago now. He and JT joined Asim and I, and he was brilliant. He was so open. He had a sense of humour that I don't think people realised, and there was a real depth to him that I think isn't really necessarily seen in the public eye. But one of the questions that was relevant to you is, I said to him, if you had to choose anyone from the squad to babysit, who would it be? I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
He said Dan.
Did he? Yeah?
Dan
Take
Burn.
that.
Yeah.
You're doing
That's
loads
the kind of
now, so you
responsibility. I was just saying, I do loads now, so that's fine. The responsibility. Yeah, I'm glad that I sort of would be responsible for his kids. So yeah, I'd take that.
There was no hesitation. JT was with the Brazilians, but
Must have you'd have fun in their house, I bet. I think that's probably why the gaffer would like mine, because they'd be in bed right on time. Yeah,
that is kind of where he went. Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll be looked after, they'll be in bed, they'll be fed. Whereas JT was like, yeah, they'll be up
have
partying,
a
bouncing
great
off
time.
the walls.
Have a great time at the Brazilians. 100%. Oh, that was nice one. Yeah.
Well, we know you've got so many foreigners in the dressing room. Are they? We've met Bruno. We've done the thing with Bruno and Joe Linton together. They seem quite like they get the English humour. Is it?
Yeah, they do. I think that as it's gone on, Bruno's getting like a lot more. a lot more as he's going that. But he's yeah, I think that's quite a hard thing. Just I feel like as you go higher up the leagues, there becomes like more cultures and players are coming from different countries. I feel like when you're lower leagues, like it's predominantly like English lads, Scottish lads. It's
Yeah.
like quite easy to like form that bond. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like tends to be just like a night out, like gets everyone
Well,
together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when you get like higher up and you're in the Premier League, you've got like obviously like Wissers from Africa, I've got lads from South America, like all over the place. So it's like not everybody's into the same thing. So like I think that's quite a good thing that the gaffer can do is like pull lads from all different cultures together and really make them want to sort of play for each other and fight for each other. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard. Like you don't see, like, I don't see many of the lads outside of
That's what's changed, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
from when we played it.
yeah,
We saw, we was out all the time. So
yeah.
you still see the. I was at Alan Allen, he was around mine all the time. You don't see that now, do you?
No,
Sort
no,
of like it's,
definitely. I think
it's
that's a
changed,
hard
isn't
thing
it?
because you like at football you only have like quite superficial conversations, really, isn't it? It's like morning mate, all right, how are you? Like blah blah. Like you'll talk about the football a little bit, but you don't really have those sort of conversations like you need to bring a team together. Really, like outside football, somewhere where like you're not talking about football or you're not around football. So I think the gaffer's quite good at doing things in meetings and like we do. I'm spoke about this before, but timelines we do. So it's like your name gets picked out of a hat and then you've got to get up for 10 minutes and like speak about anything really, but it tends to be about like your upbringing, like how you like loved football, like you and like you see things and you go, oh, like yeah, you're from Brazil, but like we're quite similar in that way,
Yeah.
like the way we were brought up, or like Joe Linton, like leaving home when I don't know what he was like, tend to like go and play in a different part of Brazil and not doing that, and like you realize sometimes why people do certain things on the pitch or why they're wired that way, and I think like that was something massive that you don't. No one likes getting up and speaking in front of the rest of the lads.
Oh,
but
Rob loves it. But
yeah, apart from Rob. But it's like it's something that like everybody's on equal ground. Everybody's got to do it, and like it just like gives you something else to talk about. You know what I mean? So I think that's quite good.
Is that the same? Because there's also quite an age sweep within the squad, isn't there? You know, you're one of the elder statesmen now. I don't mean that
No.
offensively because you're still much younger than me. And then you've got people like, is it Lewis or Louis? Because I've heard it said in the press too many times, Louis Miley, Lewis Miley. Eddie's called him both. Which one is it?
I'd say Louis.
Louis. That's
I
what
think you'd probably have to ask him what he
Geordie
prefers.
thing,
To be
see?
fair. Yeah, I think it's probably up to him. I don't think Louis would be or Lewis would be particularly bothered whatever he used to be.
But it could be some player, in
Yeah, unbelievable. Man.
But you've got him aged 18, 19. He's 19 now.
Mad.
Captain and in
Captain
the
last
Champions
night,
League
Champions
as well.
League,
Phenomenal.
unreal, yeah.
But, you know, how are you connected? Because it's not. He's 33 years old, doesn't hang out with a 19
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, but those are the sort of things where like I think it's like easier with Louis because we're obviously both Geordies and like families are Newcastle fans, so like you sort of relate to each other during that way. But there's probably other lads in there who aren't from that sort of background. But those are the type of things where like you find sort of similarities in like the way that you fell in love with football, or like your parents used to like take you up and down the country, all these football tournaments and all that sort of stuff. So I feel that's the best way to do it. I feel like it's like gone other days now at the minute where you just go out and have like a few drinks together and stuff like that, because especially like the younger generation, like it's like they're not that interested in doing
they're not
that.
into it, are they?
I mean, like not really.
No.
Like don't get us wrong, like have a Christmas do, like everyone will be there, but it's not where like even like probably when I first came to Newcastle, like because I was back home like with my friends and stuff, like probably most weekends if I won, I'd like go out for a few drinks and stuff. Now where I've probably not been out for like 2 years or something like that, just because it's like I think it's changed a little bit in as we've become more successful. Like you kind of don't want to be seen doing all that as well. Do you know what I mean? And the same thing as I said before, it's not like I can just stand at a bar and blend in. Like even if I stick a hat on,
You can't blend in up here because you're playing for Newcastle and you're 6'7".
That is the slight problem sometimes.
Let's just have a word on Louis Miley because it seems to me, and Rob will constantly tell me I don't know what I'm watching because I've never played the game, but I have watched a lot of football, including him for all the time he played here, and he just seems to me to be, he's got the world at his feet, hasn't he? Is he as good as I think he could be?
Yeah, he's amazing. I think he's just so calm and composed. Like I feel like whatever situation that we put Louis in, like he never becomes flustered. It's just the way like he normally is. And I think what helped is as well, like he's playing a few different positions now. I feel like when you're a young lad coming through, like when we're doing shape work and all that sort of stuff, like half the time if you're the young lad, you're just filling in for someone in a position. So Louis played pretty much every position on the pitch in training that we've done. I feel like you sort of pick up those patterns and you don't understand where you're meant to be and all that sort of stuff. So I feel that's helping
Was
massively.
you surprised how well he did it right back?
Um,
Or was it just sort of like you see him in training? you
yeah,
can do
no,
that?
I was like,
But no one seems to go past him.
no, not really. He's like, I think when I first started with him, he was like 16, and you could see he was like a little boy, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like quite like tall and gangly, but like
Yeah.
not really like filling out. Whereas I feel like he had the injury and stuff, and you saw him like starting to like fill out a little bit, and now he's just like so athletic, like quick and strong and can jump and like just got a lot.
He's
and
trying to
got the
catch you
ball,
up in
so it
height
comes
as well,
forward.
isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully, that's the one thing I cling on to, that I'm always the tallest. So I'll be
it's-
gone before he gets mine.
It's something that Sean Longstaff said. Do you remember when Sean Longstaff was playing for
Yeah.
us and Tonali had arrived?
Mm.
And I remember in an interview, he was asked, what's it like keeping Tonali at bay?
Yeah.
And he said, actually, I'm worried about the
Yeah,
young
100%.
Geordie.
Yeah.
I mean, that says everything, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Because Tonali's unbelievable.
Very good. I think that's the thing is as well. That's probably the toughest position on the pitch. I think probably to get in at the minute with the
Them
the
three.
players. Yeah, obviously them three. Like the even the options that we've got in there, like in general, is quite like a hard one. So, like, don't get us wrong. I don't think he's going to play right back forever, or that's particularly going to be his position. But I feel like just the amount of games he's building up at the minute and the experience he's getting. Like, there'll not be many lads his age of like being how long they've been playing Champions League football and so yeah, like I think like I've got no doubts that he'll just kick on and same sort of thing. I think we were gutted when we lost Elliot to Forest. You know what I mean? Which was just
Still hurts, Dan.
yeah, and like I'd love him to come back. You know what I mean? But I think that now we're probably paying like 100 million for him, so it wouldn't be a great business. But like that's the thing that I think we've probably learned from that with Louis as well. Whereas I don't think we'll ever be in danger of that happening.
Letting him
You know
go.
what I mean? Yeah,
Saying he's signing a 20-year deal. You're going to
don't say
live here
that's an
forever.
exclusive or anything, but I'd like to hope that like I'm not sitting here in like 5 years' time thinking, well, I shouldn't have said that.
You've also got to look at though, like if Elliot came back, would he get in the midfield three? Because it's I mean I've said it loads of times. Midfield three on their day, I think it's the best in the Premier League.
No, yeah, good. No, I've heard, like you hear people say that all the
You've
time.
got everything. You've got aggression. You've got
Yeah.
guile with Bruno. You know what I mean? You've got everything.
Definitely.
Tonali's like just amazing.
Yeah.
So would he £100 million come back and not play? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? At least Louis knows he's young, so he'll fill in and fit in and he'll get his games in. Eventually, one of them will go, and then he'll be there.
Yeah, in hindsight, it was a great move for El, really, wasn't it? Like to go there and get the
Get an
opportunities that I
England
probably
side.
wouldn't have getting here, and now playing for England and all that. So
It is amazing.
Nice.
Something Rob said in the last episode, Dan, we were talking about leaders, game changers, and being in a position where you're behind in a game. And let's be fair, this season, it's happened to us a few times now. And sometimes we've come back, but in the early part of the season, we weren't. We were going one down and we couldn't get back. Rob was saying in his day in the Entertainers, if they were in trouble, he'd look up, there's Peter Beardsley, there's Alan Shearer, there's Tino, there's David Ginola, there's Sir Les. He can just ping it to any of them. He's happy. He knows something's going to happen. You're on the field. Let's say we're 1-0 down, but there's 25 minutes to go. There's plenty of time. Who are you going, this is who I need to get the ball to? This is who I need to get on this because it's going to fix the game for us.
yeah, anyone apart from me, to be fair.
Come on, you
We'll be
scored.
saying that at
You
the cup
scored at
final,
Wembley.
mate.
Not me feet though. Maybe when I get to a corner or back myself. But yeah, I think like just forward players. You know what I mean? I think that's always as soon as I get the ball, I'm trying to give it to the lads who are the creative players. Like first off, you're looking at Bruno, and then probably with wingers. I think wingers are so dangerous. Like the four of them, like can on the day like should beat any fullbacks. I feel like that's where we're really strong. I think it's hard as well because I feel like we're having this conversation the other day. I feel like when we had like Tino and Rob and all stuff like football and ability was like crazy and like they could change games just by doing that. I feel like now that like teams are so like well drilled and it's such like a system game that like sometimes like that wouldn't make a difference. Sometimes, do you know what I mean? As in like teams would drop into like two banks of four and front two. Like even if you do get the ball, those players, it's actually quite hard for them to do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's getting harder and harder now to break teams down. It's a bit like a game of chess rather than like when I remember going and watching it was Newcastle. It was a lot more free flowing and yeah, you'd see like a lot more skill involved.
Because sometimes that's what we struggle at, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we had the low block against us, the team now, we struggle to break. We like hitting teams on the break. That's what because we've got
definitely.
So it's tough. Even like cause yesterday in the game against PSV, we sat back and they didn't look like they were
No.
and they've scored and lost for 19 games, was it? They didn't look like they were going to score. I hope make what 2 saves, which
one of
I
them
would
straight
have, I would have made.
Yeah.
So I think it is. I think it is difficult. But I think the difference is, I think we always had Alan or Les that if we were struggling, Ginola weren't playing well or Tino weren't playing, we could actually just whip it in.
Yeah.
We had someone who could,
Totally.
I get that, batter someone and edit in. Do you know what I mean? That's the. I don't think we have that sort of number 9 now. We had that for a long time.
To go and do that. I think it's quite hard with us like 9s in general because I don't know like how many 9s like that there is out there anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like out and out goal scorers like Harry Kane or like that. Like I don't feel like
it's a dying breed, really, isn't it?
Well, psychologically, how have the squad had to adapt and change to? We don't like to name him anymore. I have no idea how you feel about him. I'm not going to ask you to be controversial. He came on this show and was lovely and clearly loved the club, but he left. I'm talking about Isak, obviously. And there was a very distinct way we were playing that catered to his strengths. It was almost like that forward line was built around him. Then we signed 2 very different profile strikers. 2 of them, fantastic. One of them gets injured on international duty straight away. Wisser, gutted. Probably the most like for like comparatively. And then this complete anomaly of a glorious human being, phenomenal talent of a footballer, but totally different to Isak in Voltemander. How did that sit with the squad? How did you go about going, right, how are we going to get the best out of these guys? How are we going to replicate what we've had so successfully so far?
Yeah, I think it's like just tweaking things, isn't it? Like obviously the pace that we've got with the wingers, like, they could be the lads who went in behind a lot more, and then Nick can drop a lot shorter. But I feel like we're constantly evolving anyway. So I think like even if Alex had stayed, it doesn't particularly mean that that's the way we would have carried on playing, because I feel like now you play against a team once and they do something, but then if they do exactly the same again, you're prepared for it, and it's different. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that's why teams struggle so much with City, because you do something well once against City and you win, and then the next time they'll just completely change, and you think, and like the teams who come up, teams who come up and do well, like from the league, from the championship, like who do realize, so like when Bielsa was with Leeds, and they were like pretty much 1v1 all over the pitch, and everyone's like, well, what is going on here? And the second season, everyone's like, oh, hang on, like, if we do this, and then they struggle that second season. Do you know what I mean? So always feel as if we're evolving anyway, and the gaffers never stand still, because I feel then you're always sort of dropping back a little bit. So there's always like things that were done, but I think you just sort of play our strengths, don't you? Like Nick.
So it is a conscious evolution, because it's certainly our big strength originally was that intensity is identity. It was that high press. It was like, get at them, get in their faces. We are fitter than you. We will last longer than you. And that has changed. And some people have speculated, oh, well, because it's Steve Bunce has come in to manage injuries and take care of the physical side of things more. Other people have said, no, it's because we were predictable there. We've had to change because we can't be that team again. So you're saying it's a very conscious...
Yeah, definitely. I think the first year that we got Champions League, I feel like we did so well there, but as well, teams didn't really respect it as much as they should have. It was like, we were coming to press you.
Right.
And teams were like, well, we'll just play through it. And then that season passed and thought, oh, actually, like we can't do that. So now we're going to go in behind a bit more. And then we've got to adapt a little bit more and go, all right, we'll probably can't press all the time. We might need to sit off a little bit and counter. And then teams now see how good we are on the counter. And then you'll see a lot of teams putting 11 men behind the ball and saying, right, okay, then come break it down to them. And that's up to us to be like, right, how are we doing this? How are other teams breaking down these teams and then learning off them? So I feel it's constantly evolving. Like I don't feel like you tended to see like Pep's teams like would do something, and then the next season like 10 or 11 teams are doing that, and then Pep would do something, and then next season 10 or 11 teams are doing that. So like it's always
the Arsenal corners.
Yeah, and then now everybody's like doing the same setup off corners, or like
long throws.
Brentford were unreal.
Long throws
Do you know
now,
what I mean? So it's like kind of like, and then it ends up going full circle. Or now we'll be going back 4-4-2 and like
definitely
hitting the striker. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard. Like I remember we used to play against Burnley, but you'd play against teams trying to do similar stuff pretty much the whole time, and then you play against Burnley, who like go longer and like flick balls around the corner. You're like, what is going on? Yeah, like why can't I defend this? Like this is annoying. Like, but you just get so used to like knowing sort of what's going to happen before it happens, if you know what I mean. When they do something like, I think that's why you see like Premier League teams struggle against lower league teams in the FA Cup, because like that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like you get used to playing against certain teams a certain way, and then all of a sudden they flip something like.
Dan, you speak so brilliantly. I mean, there's so many questions I have to ask you, including I've got to talk to you about that header, because I just have to. But a couple of things I need to sort of remark on. Firstly, we saw you on Sky the other day. You're a natural pundit. You speak so brilliantly. You put Micah Rich in his place. I really, really enjoyed seeing it. But you speak so eloquently, so brilliantly. But you also you've studied the game, you've got your coaching badges.
Mm.
So are you at that? Obviously, we want you to play forever.
Yeah.
But let's jump ahead 5 seasons,
Yeah.
right? Let's give you till late
I'll take that.
30s.
I'll
Yeah,
take that.
let's just do that, right? It seems to me, could very well have a future in coaching, management, and so on,
Mm.
or you could naturally step into the media side of things. Have you started to think about that yet, or is there too much happening in the here and now?
No, I'm definitely thinking about it. I think it's tough. The Champions League seasons are tough to do that for because there's so much going on. I don't really think you can give energy to anything else. There's so many games that you're just constantly preparing. But I feel like last season I did me B, so I got me B license then, and then I've picked up injuries or we're down in London. I've been trying to do like a bit of sort of media punditry stuff. I feel like you've got to have some sort of plan because I know there's going to be a day when I wake up and I'm not going to be a footballer anymore, and I'm too like routine based, or I can't just like sit and like it'll be good for a few weeks, don't get us wrong, but like I can't do that. I need something to step into, and I feel like if I'm starting to do that now, when I do retire, then you can sort of go into that. But I think coaching's a hard one, to be honest. Like I did me badge, and I will probably go on to do me A and on, but I just think it's like to see the work that the gaffer puts in
Mm.
to prepare for games, and like so like I'm sure like every game. So like who are we playing Sunday? Villa.
Villa.
So he'll watch 8 games of Villa, like all the way through. I
Brilliant.
just think like how have you got time to do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in like and then prepare all that on top of that, all the sessions. And I just think if I'm competing with him for jobs, like I think you've got to be like so passionate about what you're doing
Yeah.
to do that, and I don't feel like I am right now. So I'm tending to like look a bit more towards like a media route and a little bit of punditry, like whatever, and just seeing if I can do that sort of stuff, like it'll give us as much of a football fix as I want without sort of like every single day doing.
Without getting up at 6 a.m. every morning. Is that
That's the
where
plan.
it's going?
Yeah, we'll see if it goes like that, but that's the plan. But what did you find that hard when you retired?
When I retired, honestly, mate, everyone goes through the same thing. Alan was saying, once you retire, you think first couple of weeks, oh great,
Yeah,
I haven't got to be anywhere. And then after that, you're like, wow, what do I do?
Mm.
I haven't actually got to be anywhere. And that's
it's hard when you've been told to like this is the time you're in,
Yeah.
this is the time you're training,
Yeah.
this is who we've got at the weekend, this is how long you've got off
Yeah.
to go and do nothing. Like if I'm being completely honest, like I've actually the time that I've had away from football last 6 weeks, like I've enjoyed not having to mentally prepare myself for games constantly because I feel like physically, like games are fine, like Saturday, Tuesday, like it's actually alright. But I think it's like the mental thing of like, right, that game's done, like, right, I've got to recover. Who have we got next? Right, I've got to prepare for that, and it's like the constant thinking about it. I feel like when you're not having to think about football, like I've actually quite enjoyed it, just being like being with the kids or had Christmas or that sort of stuff. And now I feel like quite fresh going back into it. Like these lads who, like Harry Kane, like who've done international Champions League football, the
Relentless.
full career, like it is amazing. Like
Mm.
I don't know if it's because they know no different, but I think it's amazing how they can keep themselves at that level and ticking over constantly, performing. I think it's mad.
Well, what's that like with the preparation with Eddie and the squad? Because of course everyone talks about how Eddie's the best coach, the best manager out there
Mm.
on the weekday when he's got the whole week to prepare the team
Yeah.
for the weekend fixture. You're the best prepared team there is.
Mm.
Everyone knows what they're doing. Now we've seen it last time as well in the Champions League. Now there isn't as much time. There just simply isn't because you've got other games, which is brilliant and super exciting. But how does he distill the level of information he gives you across 5 days into 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think we'll learn a lot from the first Champions League season for that reason. I think we're a team who love to be out on the pitch and like walking through everything and making sure that we had all the details right. Well, I feel as if now we'll still get the same information. It's probably just condensed, so maybe not like instead of we're getting 7 and 8 points on certain stuff, it might be 2 or 3 really important bits.
Mm.
But then a lot of the work's probably done more in meeting rooms rather than we're being out on the pitch and doing it, or we're going through walkthroughs and we're shaped rather than being on my feet. Like I think recoveries had to come into it a lot more. And I think he's always quite worried about overloading with too much information. I think like the lads who've been here for a long time, like from the start, really. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
from him being here, like we're quite used to the way he works and but for like lads who've just came in, I think it's quite hard sometimes to just concentrate on playing because you're trying to think about everything that you've got to remember as you're playing as well. Do you know what I mean? I feel like like when Alex first came in, like he didn't play straight away.
Mm.
Like it took him a while, and then like he went and kicked on. Like when Gordy came in for like 6 months, he didn't play that much.
Yeah.
Went to Euros and kicked on. So I feel like it always takes a bit of time to really understand what you want, and then like have that in your memory. So you're just like, right, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going. So.
This is why we often see when new signings come in, you know, as fans, you want to just play them. We want to see what the new guys like. Let's give them a turn. Let them have a run. But actually, you're saying the system is so kind of comprehensive. There's almost like an Eddie Howe Bible, like a playbook that you need to know it before you can.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel it's a big trust thing with the manager. Like, the manager needs to be able to trust you that the information he's given you, like you can deliver on the pitch. Like, because I don't think it matters who you are. If he doesn't think that you can, like you won't play. Do you know what I mean? I think that's like, and we're at a level now in the Premier League where like that has to be it. That has to be the standard. So I feel now, as lads are coming in, there is a lot to learn. But once they've learned it, then they can just go.
Well, Lewis Hall didn't play for ages, did he?
Yeah, exactly. And look at him.
You look at him now, he's like
Tino, like all those sort of people. Like I feel like people probably do get a bit frustrated when they first come in because they're like, I should be playing, like I should be doing this, but like I feel like you don't realise the information that you're given and the role that you have for a team. Like we're a very like system team, as in everyone has a role. Yeah. And like if you're going for a man-for-man press, if one person doesn't do it, like you're better off not doing it. Do you know what I mean? Right. So like you need to be able to fulfill that role, and if you can't, then like someone else has to be able to do. So
you know, if Lewis Hall's making that move, you're naturally going to take that space because that's just almost like muscle memory.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like I can, like, as the ball's moving about the back line, I pretty much know where I'm going already. Or when I get the ball at my feet, like I know where I'm passing the ball before I've even got it. More because of the patterns we go through and stuff, which is like, and I don't mind that. I quite like that. I've got that, and then when we get the final third, we've got that freedom to. You've got your best players, like that's who you want on the ball, like Anthony Gordon, Jacob Murphy's, Nick Bruno, like who've got that bit of magic that can do that. Do you know what I mean?
It's like a game of chess with bodies.
I think football's changed a lot. Yeah. We had Keegan. It was we never did.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like it was. You know, you get the ball, and he'd be saying never did any set plays, never did any. Just if Tino's playing well, give him the ball. Get him the ball as quick as you can. You know, if Tino's playing well, give him the ball. That was.
I think there's a confidence about that as well, isn't it? Because I feel like if you're going there and thinking, well, like, I don't even need to think about the opposition because like we're that good. Like, doesn't really matter.
That's class. Eddie must be unreal. Changed because he must do loads on the opposition and stuff like that. I said we never did anything.
No. I think the analysis is crazy now.
Mad, it's a totally different.
Like the team of analysts that like every team has, and like some of the things they're picking up on and stuff is. I remember there was like last year Arsenal on corners. There was a certain position David Raya would take in his own half, and whether he was standing, that's where the ball, like that was. So the players would look if David Raya was standing.
Wow, that was the trigger.
That was the trigger for where it was going. So like you're already trying to pick out. Like if we play Brentford, it's like colours, so it's like orange and blue and yellow, and I'm like, what does yellow mean? Like, you know I mean, and then then they change it all the time, so you can't think about it because we're like playing at a level where like. Those tiny percents make the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like now, like long throw-ins, like the reason every team's doing it is because like there's a clear percentage in like chances created and goals. Do you know what I mean? So don't get us wrong. Like people probably think it's not the nicest thing to watch. I still think it's quite exciting. To be fair, when that, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like from a football purist point of view, you're like, come on, man. Like, everyone's taking like a minute to take a throw-in and stuff, but like we're in like a stats game now where that's creating the best chances.
But do they have code words? Like if is Eddie's like standing on the side going elephant or whatever?
Maybe not elephant, but you'll have like words that you use, or it'll be colours. So like, I don't know, red. You just name something that's red. So like, cherry. Like that could be front post and stuff because now it's gone the days where it was like. One hand up front post, two hands up back post, like shin pad, like spin the ball.
Basic stuff.
Because like the analyst is like within 5 minutes of going right. Every time he spins the ball's going back.
That's it. He's fixing his shorts again. Hang on, they're going long, lads.
Or like say we used to do quite like intricate short corners, but then teams would work out like we do it on a certain corner every game. So like you've got to mix that up. So like with already I can hear the lads going right. Someone's coming. Like it's a third corner. Like something's going to happen. So like you've got to constantly evolve and do that, like.
And is that because you've obviously had to play your preferred position, but you've also had to play left back. You know, you've stepped in and done a service to the club in a position that you yourself have admitted is not your favourite position. It's not where you really want to be playing. Is that a bit of a head fuck when you have to switch around?
Yes and no. I feel like it's like like the gaffer gives you confidence that he believes that you can do that. Do you know what I mean? So I feel that gives you confidence to do it, and like I know that I can play that position. I don't play it anywhere in the same world as Louis Hall plays that position, but I feel like
He's
that's
becoming the best in the world, though,
he's
Dan.
class though.
Yeah.
He is good.
Yeah.
I think we're so dynamic when he's playing and stuff
Yeah.
as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the ability to go forward, but then in the same thing, like when I'm playing that position, I'm not asked to do that. So like it's the gaffer's clear with us that listen, he says like I'm not asking you to do what Louis Hall does. Like this is why I'm playing you here, and this is what I want you to do. Like if you're doing that for me, then that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I ask of you. Do you know what I mean?
He's
And I
not
feel like
doing
that's-
rainbow flick drills with you then.
No, I can do it. Don't get us wrong, but like
Of course you
sometimes,
can.
sometimes
Easy.
you just want to show up the wingers. Do you know what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah, we'll play up front if you
yeah,
feel like
exactly. I could do that.
get a little hat trick.
Definitely.
Tell us, because I've been wanting to ask, I've alluded to it. Have you got any memory of it, or have you just watched it replay? Tell us about that ball coming in from that corner at Wembley, which was the greatest, most phenomenal, most unbelievable. How do you get bend on a header like that? How did you do it? How did you? And what can you remember of it?
Yeah, like, I can remember like just feeling that I was getting quite a few. Like it was a few before that I'd getting good contacts on and thought standing a chance. I think like we were going for that corner because we knew how strong Liverpool were around the 6 yard box, and if you put the ball anywhere near Van Dijk, really he's winning the ball. So it was sort of do that, and then maybe not even score off the first contact, but if we're creating a bit of carnage in there's a chance. And I'm sure the gaffer said it before, like when we did it in training, like it rarely went that well. Do you know what I mean? Just one of them. But I think it was just one of those things where
picking you up because
he's
we're
Alexis
big,
on it,
yeah,
McAllister. Yeah.
McAllister, wasn't it? 'Cause one of the smallest was picking you up.
But I feel like that happens a lot now. You'll see like blockers tend to be smaller guys, and they're really like just trying to stop you getting a good run on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like it's effective, like really. But I think like the Trips has pretty much assisted every header I think I've ever scored for Newcastle. So you know the ball's going to be where you want it, and it just was one of those things where like when the ball was there, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just try and. hit
But
this
how?
side.
But put us on the pitch with you there, Dan, because obviously you've got. We took over Wembley. The Liverpool fans were lovely, but they barely showed up. It was black and white. It was unbelievable. It was one of the most amazing away performances you could have imagined from the supporters. Right before we'd won the game before it would kicked off. You're on the pitch. It's not half time. We've clearly dominated.
Yeah.
You know the corner's coming in. Tell us through your eyes. What can you remember? Are you thinking at all, or is it just go for it? Boom.
Yeah, I think just trying to make sure that I was in a position where if the ball was where I was wanting it to be, that I could attack it well. And I feel like with Trips, like 9 times out of 10, like he's going to put it like on the money. Do you know what I mean? So just and I'm always better, I feel, when I can pick up the trajectory of the ball and go for it. I've like always struggle if I've got to like flick things or like run across and do it because like the ball comes in too quickly for us to move. I think that's just me being a big guy.
So you got the perfect view of the ball coming your way.
Coming in, and then it was just more about going up and being able to get the contact on it. And I think like as soon as I headed it, I was like, that's in like
You knew.
100% and stuff. But I was,
It wasn't, the best header at Wembley, but it was.
No, it wasn't bad. Yeah. I was there for that one as well. Don't
It was, Rob. It was.
Yeah, he was.
I was
Yeah.
there.
I was
was.
delighted when he got it.
yeah, and then just sort of, I think it was so much disappointment after the first final that we hadn't scored. Like I think it was so much of a hype for it. Like I said, we were so overhyped for that game. It was, like, I was shattered by the time we kicked off.
Yeah,
I was
I bet.
knackered. Like honestly,
Yeah.
just like emotionally drained. Like just didn't feel as if I had like anything. As well, I feel like we're prepared really well for that game. And don't get us wrong, I was still emotional. Like when I came out, like to do like a lap of the pitch just before the game, like, and you can see like we were full, like
Yeah.
flags and everything. I looked over and there was like no one at Liverpool. Like, I could feel myself like well a little bit. I was like, right, I need to get off the pitch, yeah. And then you're just trying to like sort of get in the game mode, like what you like, just your routine, just to like get yourself going. And then as I said, like we'd started so well, and just think this has got to be it. Like it can't keep going on.
Did the lads feel like pressure? You know, 'cause we had 1-0 for
Yeah, I think
so long. Cause
no one said it, but I think subconsciously anyway. Like it'll be the same for you. I feel like you feel like it's a bit of like a monkey on your back, where like because it hasn't happened for so long, like until you actually punch through that ceiling and do it, like you think it's never going to happen.
Keegan always said to us, I remember him saying, he said, listen, the hardest trophy to win is the first trophy.
Yeah.
And we never done it. So he said that was the hardest trophy. And now we actually won a trophy.
Yeah, now you feel
You
like
feel you can win.
yeah, I feel like now this is what we're expected to do. Like get to, I know like we're obviously we got beat 2-0 in the first leg, but like we expect to be at the final, like and like the FA Cup, like tough draw, but we're expecting to do that now. As I feel like before the manager came in, like and probably other clubs I played at, it was more like FA Cup was a chance to like play a few lads who
Yeah.
hadn't been playing regularly, or it was like a chance to give some lads a rest. Whereas
Keep
now
the
it's
squad
like,
happy.
yeah, whereas now like every time we come to a cup game, like it's an opportunity. Like realistically, like we're not in a position where we can compete for the league. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like it's
Not
normally
yet.
done
I agree.
on wages. Like the teams who pay the most on wages can bring in the best players, and other ones for competing for the Premier League. Like Leicester, maybe a bit of an anomaly, but
Yeah.
normally. Whereas now, like our best chance of winning trophies are the cups, and I feel like now you're also seeing other teams take it more serious because they've seen like Palace winning FA
Yeah.
Cup, like just a good year last year, wasn't it? Just
It
for
was
like not to
brilliant.
see the same teams winning
It's
it.
brilliant,
Yeah,
like when
it's been
Leicester won the
great,
Prem.
yeah.
You know, it's just these are the
That's
fairy
what you want to
tales.
see.
Yeah,
So.
we want to
But
see that.
but what you're saying is it shouldn't and isn't anymore a
No,
fairy tale
definitely
for this
not,
club.
yeah.
It's now an expectation. I mean, obviously we've got a 2-0 deficit against Man City,
Yeah.
but anything can happen because it's football. We go to Villa in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
But we are marching fast on in the Champions League, which
Yeah,
is
definitely.
amazing. What's achievable, in your opinion, Dan, in the Prem now? Because it's such a topsy-turvy
Yeah.
season, and we've had some brilliant results and some really duff ones.
Mm.
What's the expectation inside the squad?
Yeah, I think like purely from a personal point of view, like I think we should still be going for Champions League football. I think
Top
like
five.
listen, yeah, like we're not winning the league. I think like that's clear. Like I think it'll be a while before we get to the position to do that regularly. But I think if we're regularly making the Champions League, I think that's sort of an expectation for us. I think like I don't know if we ever went back to back Champions League before or not.
Games?
No, as in seasons.
Getting
No.
no,
We do it
no.
in Bobby. So I think that's like that was what we spoke about this season to be the first team to get back to back Champions League seasons, and I think that's the challenge from the first one because you put so much focus on the Champions League. Sometimes that like you lose where the best mentality is like doesn't matter who we're playing. Like the City's like doesn't matter if they're playing League Cup, FA Cup, whatever. It's like this is the standard we're hitting every week, and that's where we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's good to hear from a fan.
yeah, I'm trying. That's not always the reality, but that's the intention.
That's the intention. Dan, when did it settle in? When did it actually hit home that you were now a team that wins? Because you and I chatted at Box Park after the final, just before you had to leave in a car to play for England,
Yeah.
by the way, for your first ever. And you were so sort of, it clearly hadn't sunk in yet. You know, like, whilst I'd basically been crying ever since the full-time whistle, I was numb to start with, incidentally, but then I got really emotional. But you were just kind of like, yeah, it's the best week of my life.
Yeah.
You know, but you couldn't,
No, yeah,
you
I
weren't
felt
connected to it. It was obvious that you were just in this sort of crazy days.
I was completely numb. I thought it was like not a bit of an anticlimax, but as in like I feel like you're in so much of a build up, like what it's going to be like, and then when it actually happened, you're like, like I've done it, like it's like I don't know if it's just the mentality of like a footballer or whatever, but it's like, all right, what's next, like. So now what we're going to do, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it was such a strange feeling. I feel like the journey was so much better than the actual. It's so hard to explain. Do you know what I mean?
know
Like,
exactly
without,
what you mean. I know
yeah,
exactly what you mean.
it's
You
so
won't
weird,
realise
like-
what you've done
Yeah,
in your career until you stop.
yeah, definitely.
And everyone goes, "Wow, you did that."
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, actually," because you go from that game to go and play for England.
Yeah, straight
another
away,
game.
definitely.
Then you got another game.
So what you're
it's
saying is success is lived in hindsight.
Yeah,
a little bit.
right. Until you retire, and then you look back and think, "Wow,
Yeah.
I did that."
But what about the trophy parade? I mean,
Yeah,
must
that
have
was
been-
probably the one thing. So I feel like just before I say that, I feel like it's more like you realise that the journey's so much more important. So like all those moments we had up building up to it, even the game was like I would take that over like the actual thing happening. Do you know what I mean? Like the actual way it felt building up towards that, because you'll never get that back now. Do you know what I mean? Now like, that's done. But yeah, sorry, what did you ask us after that?
No, it's trophy parade.
Trophy parade, yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably the first time where I look, because you see how much it actually like meant to people. Because I know that there was like a lot of people in the crowd like crying, like everyone who ever spoke to us said that they were crying in the crowd, but you couldn't see it from where we were, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like when we went to the parade, and then I don't really know what we're expecting, to be honest. I think you knew that there was going to be some crowd there, but when we came out like St James's Park and then started going like down, you saw like the big banner of the gaffer coming on, and then
Yeah.
like passing the Haymarket, and that was just like thousands of people just like crying and stuff. And like a few times I was having to like catch myself and like just like, right, come on, man, like, don't cry, don't cry. You know what I mean? So it was yeah, I think that was probably the one and only time that I've sort of like just sort of sat back and appreciated like what it was, because you feel like, oh, like how many people like are like passed away who would have
Yeah.
wanted to like see that happening. Like everyone was like, oh, like dad passed away like 5 days before the final, or like, and like you just think like, oh, it is crazy when like you think about it like that. That just like all the opportunities that like would never quite got it done, and then it finally got done, and then people have had that sort of experience with sort of family members that they might not have had.
And that's why it's important to do it again, Dan.
Yeah,
and
well,
again.
right.
Yeah,
We're trying.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
keep
hoping
doing
it's
it.
not going to be 70 years before the
No,
next one.
no, let's hope
I
not.
don't want to be sitting on a podcast in 70 years going, I need them to do it before I'm gone.
Can you imagine Rob in 70 years?
Oh my God.
Dear me, there'll be drips up everywhere.
Oh, all sorts, wasn't it?
There's some podcasts.
A bionic knee.
The oldest podcast in the world.
The old Adopted Geordies. Yeah, Dan, from a player's perspective, you're out on the pitch at St James's Park. War Flags are doing their amazing banners. The songs are going. Every player. One of the best things about our team is the number of songs, the variety of noise that comes from the crowd. When you're on the pitch, how much are you hearing other players' songs and plus your own? Like, if you hear from Blythe, does it give you that?
Yeah,
little,
definitely. Yeah,
"Oh,"
yeah.
And does it irk you if it goes like 45 minutes? All right, you've heard Sandro a couple of times, and, but you haven't heard He's from Blythe.
No, I remember we played Chelsea away last game of the season. I think the season we got Champions League, and they'd just done the Anthony Gordon song.
Okay.
And honestly, 90 minutes they did the Anthony Gordon song, like,
Yeah.
and it was like, don't get us wrong, top song.
Yeah.
But I was like, come on, like, sing something else. Like,
Yeah.
just one other song, but it was like constant. It was class. Don't get us wrong, it was unreal. But I was like, oh, good. But no, I think you hear it, but you don't really like take notice of it that much. Do you know what I mean? It's more like when before the game when there's like the big roar and like if someone like smashes someone in a tackle or you score, like you hear those, but I think like you're so focused on what's happening that like you can't really pay attention to that. Do you know what I mean? Would you say similar?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. People like you would know it because you haven't been on the pitch. Once you're on the pitch, you hear...
keep doing. I know I didn't play for Newcastle. I wasn't good
I'm
enough.
just making sure everyone knows that.
I feel like
how many tops you wear, you didn't play for Newcastle.
it was, I feel like it's easier the more people that are there. So like at St James's, like it's quite easy to like zone out. But when I've played like lower leagues, like when I was at Darlington and that, and there's like 600 people there, and there's one guy I was like, Dan Burns crap. And I'm like, shut up, I've not even kicked off yet. You know what I mean? Like, and those are the ones where I was like, oh, like honestly, he's really
Give it a rest, Mum.
He'd be eating his words now, though, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a few of them. Don't worry.
You've proved a lot of people wrong, Dan. And actually, coming to Newcastle, I mean, I'm going to say it. This is the best form of your life, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like I'm hoping. Anyway, I feel like I'm not really like peaked yet. I don't know if because I didn't do that whole academy system when I was coming through and have that sort of pressure on, is that like I'm getting that back towards the end of my career. And I feel even like I was having this conversation with Jacob Murphy the other day, like the way I move now compared to the way I moved when I was like 20, 21, like I was at Birmingham.
Oh, yeah.
Like it wasn't pretty. Just didn't like my body. Like I didn't really like fill it.
Gazelle
in
on
my body.
ice.
Oh, horrific.
I remember going into Birmingham because obviously at Birmingham with
Yeah,
Miley, my son, and obviously Lee Clarkwood and
Yeah.
Terry Mack was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
They were the
Steve Watson.
Steve Watson. And I remember going in and I'm looking, and Ollie was joining the train, and who's the big who's the big guy? And he went, and Lee Clark went, me, he'll be a player by the way. I'm like, and you were like, you're gangly, like sort of, I'm like, wow, he's big.
Yeah.
Like, but
He is big.
But it was like I didn't like really like fill into my body till I was like sort of like 24, 25. Do you know what I mean? So I feel as if like I've still got a lot to go. Like I feel really good. Like I still feel like physically like I'm getting better and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, maybe not another 5 years, but I can hope I nick another few anyway.
Mate, that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
We've got some listener viewer questions to share and so on, but there's a couple of quick stories that you've been asked a load of times before. Do you want to do the speed version? I'm talking the missing finger.
Yeah.
Because you know there's a Twitter account called Dan Burns Missing
Is
Finger.
there actually? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, no, there is. It doesn't post much.
Okay.
But it's there.
Is it?
There's an homage
Yeah.
to the missing finger. And obviously the famous story about how you were released
Yeah.
and then you're a 16-year-old pushing trolleys in the supermarket thinking, how am I ever going to do it? And yet, look at you now.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the really quick
Yeah, okay, that's
versions of
fine.
those?
So I lost my finger. I would have been 13, and my granddad had passed and he'd like give us a ring. It was made like of an old shilling, like solid, like you would not be able to snap this thing. But anyway, I was out just with my friends, and like one of the girls that were hanging around with, like her rabbit ended up getting this enclosure. Obviously trying to show off because there was girls there. I was like, all right, I'll get it. Like jumped over the fence, and then like the spike went through the ring, and then like as I've jumped off, like it ripped my finger off. So Wasn't great. Like,
Ouch.
yeah, not ideal.
Did you have the pain straight away?
No, my hand went numb, so I had like a waterproof jacket on. So I said to my friend, "Oh, like, can you get the jacket off for us? Like, I think I've like broke my hand or something like that." And then as they pulled it off, like my finger was on the fence. And
I shouldn't laugh. That's
I
terrible.
don't think that's meant to be there. Like, so I remember like booting the fence, finger fell on the floor, and I was like, "Oh." That was like loads of 13-year-olds like running, screaming, like throwing up and that. And I remember there was a gate around the corner, like I could have just walked through, but obviously I was showing off. So
Mate.
like just
Did you pick the finger up and actually?
yeah, they like someone must have heard all the screams. I came out, like put it on ice, and like we took it to the hospital and stuff. And then like I think my mum had been out for some food that night, and like she was like hyperventilating, like with a bag like in the corner, and my dad had like sprinted across the field to like come and get us and that. So yeah, not
She doesn't give you fish fingers in your house.
no, not a lot of that, not a lot. And like we don't wear a lot of rings either, like wedding rings, yeah, but don't climb fences. We don't wear rings. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was like it feels weird now. Like I feel like if I had a finger, it would be strange. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I don't notice it unless like either it's mentioned or like if people say it, like if I'm like drinking or eating. To be fair, every single photo that I get snaps of us playing football, it's there somehow. I'm sure they do it on purpose. Like, yeah. So.
It's not obvious, mate. You don't notice
No,
it.
you
And you
don't.
don't
No,
you don't find
I didn't
yourself
even
trying to
know.
look at it
No.
either,
No,
to be
that's
fair.
good.
No,
Like, oh, where is it?
Yeah, apart from now that we're talking about.
Apart from that,
yeah.
massive
No, it's
spotlight on
famous
it.
now, though.
Yeah, that's it. Well, if you've got an Instagram account or whatever,
Yeah,
it is,
Exactly.
I'm here for it. And then obviously just that the shopping trolley story is more to inspire young people that think, actually, hang on, have I left this too late? Am I not? It doesn't have to be football,
Yeah.
obviously. It could be whatever they're doing. Loads of young people these days, they haven't a clue what they want to do. They don't know what they want to. I mean, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. It was Rob Lee, and it was never good enough. So that I think is an important point to make.
I think
You'd never have put yourself as scoring that goal in Wembley, playing for England and so on, when you're pushing the trolleys.
Yeah, but no, I think like it's obviously when I was released from Newcastle, like, I was never on the academy, so it wasn't like I was released. I trained like at a development centre, which was like kids that were keeping an eye out on, and I wasn't like good really. Do you know what I mean? I think it was like kids had shot away from me and started getting taller, and I hadn't. So like physically, I wasn't at the bit I was meant to be. So I feel like it just sort of like built up a resilience to us. Like I didn't like play like county teams. I wasn't getting picked for them. Like I wasn't playing regularly like junior football. So you just sort of pick up that resilience, but at the same time, like I loved football and I just wanted to play football. So I played like futsal and five-a-side. I'd play like five-a-side with like my dad's mates, and then play a match on a Sunday and go and play a five-a-side, and then I play for a Saturday team and stuff. And I just wanted to play as much as I possibly could, and it was probably just that like repetition, like sort of made it better and better. And then it was got the point where I was playing for a team, New Hartley Juniors. I was playing for on a Saturday, and I wasn't really getting a kick really. I'd like go to all the games and not play, and then my friends started like going to the cinema, doing all that sort of stuff. So my parents were like, "You're gonna need to like do something, like get a job. Like you're not playing for New Hartley on a Saturday, so why don't like you get a job?" And I was like, "All right, yeah, fair enough." So my dad was like working not at Asda at the time; he was at Sainsbury's, but like he knew a few people at Asda, so I went for an interview and actually went like suited and booted, like.
Good lad.
Yeah, I was to make a good impression. But the only job I had was like pushing trolleys, and it was like a Saturday job, like 1 till 10. So like it's not like where nothing wrong with working in a supermarket, but I wouldn't have done that forever. But it was like a good way to make money and do that. So yeah, did that for sort of like probably about a year as I was studying at sixth form, and then the opportunity came around for us to go on trial at Darlington. So yeah, I think it's just like I always like had a bit of a chip on my shoulder that I wanted to prove people wrong, and like no one believed that I was going to do what I did now. Do you know what I mean? Like realistically, like if my parents thought that I was going to be a footballer, they probably wouldn't have made us get a job at Asda. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there was really anyone who
Unless
thought
that was part of the genius.
Yeah, true. It was all like a reverse mindset. But I feel like I always like back myself and stuff. Like don't get us wrong, I don't think I would have been playing England and Newcastle, but I just love playing football, and I would have played. I would be happy playing Northern League or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to play football, and like you don't realise that the hours that I put into doing that until I look back now and see what other kids were doing rather than playing football. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a great story. Resilience is where it's all at, isn't it? Got a couple of. We have Raoul Coley, our resident comedian.
Yeah.
He's in Australia right now,
Okay.
so he's sent a couple of questions for you. One in particular, I can't wait for you to see. You'll confirm whether this is true or not. We'll put these full screen, but for the purposes of, here we go.
Hello, I am reporting here from a sunny and hot Perth where it is currently 42 degrees Celsius. Before I get to my questions, firstly, Rob, Andy, Amber, I'm well aware that I have shaved and I currently look simultaneously 12 years old and the same age as Rob. Go fuck yourselves. I'm also aware that if Amber looked like she was kidnapped by the Russian military last week, I look like I'm auditioning for a casting couch. Just call me Bonnie Brown. Jamie Eastlake's a mutual friend of ours. You two went to school together and he's currently the director of the West End's Jerry and Sewell. But he tells me before his and your success, you were both a member of the same drama club. And in that drama club, you did a version of Star Wars Phantom of the Menace, where you ended up playing Emperor Palpatine. I want to know, number one, how did one of the tallest men from Tyneside end up playing the shortest character in Star Wars? And number two, can you do an impression of Emperor Palpatine for us now?
So there we go.
Is that true, drama club?
That is true. Yeah, it was like when we were in middle school, Jim Eastlake like done really well. Like
Yeah.
he used to like when we were at school, they used to do like I don't know, like shows and break time or whatever for the rest of the school. So there was a few lads that did it, and he used to ask me to do it sometimes. So it was like it used to be called they used to call it Titamoo TV. So it was like take the mick out of TV. So you used to just like little sketches and stuff. Yeah, and one of them was Star Wars, and I ended up being like I'm sure I was Emperor Palpatine. Something like that. Emperor Palpatine, you had to do like a fight scene and stuff like that. So yeah, I used to do quite a few of them. So see Jamie every so often.
So it's legit. You
So
were
it is legit,
the tiny
yeah,
emperor
yeah,
with the
yeah.
hands.
Middle school, I did it, and then he ended up going to a different high school, and I didn't see him for years. But I saw him in the summer because he went to see Fender at St James's.
Brilliant.
So I saw him there. But he's doing really well. To be fair,
He is.
like, London, West End, everything. So.
He is. You've sidestepped the requirement to do
Yeah.
an impression there.
Nah,
Dan.
to be honest, I thought I don't even know which one Emperor Palpatine is to do an impression.
He's the little old dude who is the little
There's like
guy,
the electric,
the super
isn't
evil
he?
guy,
Yeah.
with the electric hands.
With the Geordie accent.
That Geordie Emperor Palpatine.
How weird, It could work, couldn't it? All right, that was his first question before we jump to our listener questions. And the second one is much quicker.
I call myself the Newcastle Brown Male. You can eat Uncle Raj, Sausage Raoul. What are your favourite bits of Geordie folklore and what's your favourite Geordie slang?
Oh yeah, it's like I don't know how many of them I can say on a podcast. It is a problem.
Saying a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, no, my grandma was like always very Geordie, so like I used to like the way like she'd come up with a lot of it, like give our, like I used to love it when she said give our, like if it did something like give our man, like all that. But I feel like when I was growing up as well, if I did speak Geordie, like I used to get told off for it.
Did you?
Yeah, because my mum wanted us to like speak properly, so I was never allowed to say like I and all that stuff. It was like yes and no, and then I feel like as I've getting all that, obviously, I like
Bring it back.
try to bring it back as much as possible. But even then, like moving to like London and all that, I feel like I had to slow down the way I spoke so much because people just did not have a clue. I mean, like I remember when a few lads signed when they spoke to Paul Dummer, so he like never left. Like they used to like come to like, what did he just say? Like, the Brazilian lad, like, what did he say? Was that English? Like, unbelievable. Like, so there's a few.
Amazing. I put on Instagram photo of the two of us asking people if they had one question for you, and there's, I mean, so many questions. Loads of people are asking about, can you get them tickets? Can you sign things?
Yeah.
Can you get them
Usual.
Fabian Share's number?
Usual.
Okay, yeah.
How do you make a header curl? And all the kind of things that you'd expect. And a lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, talked about the emotion of playing for the club. But the one that Rob, because I said Rob could pick it out, and the one that Rob liked came from a viewer listener called Matthew Dobin. And he basically, I'm going to paraphrase his question, but he said, would you rather win the World Cup with England
Here
or
we
the
go.
Premier League with Newcastle?
Come on, man.
And that's not come from us.
That is poor from you. That.
I've been asked it before with myself, so
That is a killer.
what a
that one,
question.
like.
Proper Geordie as well. See,
Tough.
see.
Oh, this really hurts.
I knew you'd like this one.
Yeah, because I want to say the answer I want to say, but I don't want to say it.
Don't get the World Cup's coming up.
Oh, yeah. If I'm being completely honest, if we hadn't have won the League Cup,
Yeah.
I would say the Premier League with Newcastle. But I think like to win the World Cup
Cup, yeah.
with England, like I don't think like you can.
Nobody can begrudge you
that.
that, Dan.
No.
Unfortunately, and like as much as it pains us to say it, because listen, I'd love to win the Premier League with Newcastle. Like if we could do that next few years, I'd be buzzing. I think like it's a similar sort of thing as Newcastle. It's been so long, and like I feel like the longer it goes on, like the more the pressure that builds.
Talking
like,
about the World
for people
Cup.
to do that,
Yeah.
to do that, I feel would be huge. So
Yeah.
Well,
Horrible
66,
question.
isn't it? That was Rob's
66
birth.
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
66, mate.
60 years
It's
ago.
our year. It's our year.
God, I
Right.
hope
Got
so.
a feeling it's our year.
Why don't you just go for the double, Dan?
I'll take a double. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that an option? I didn't realise that was an
No,
option.
no,
Was it?
option.
We didn't
No.
put it down as
Oh,
an
no,
option.
give it a double option.
Double. Yeah.
It's too easy.
But we'll take it. But we'll take it. Another one that I saw someone else ask that I'm going to ask anyway. What's your favourite podcast?
Yeah, I haven't listened to loads, to be honest. I used to listen to a lot when I was.
There's an obvious answer to use.
Yeah, obviously, apart from yours.
Yeah.
Apart from yours, yeah, yours would be the
Adopted Geordies. How do you feel about Adopted Geordies, by the way? Because it's something that we talk about with our viewers and listeners. Obviously, it's very natural to be a Newcastle fan with a Geordie accent from the northeast, from anyone or the surrounding areas. It's the logical thing to do. But then you've got people like me, Geordie parents, grandparents, and so on, but raised down south, don't have the accent. And there's a lot of us out there, a lot of people that support Newcastle because they like Zebras or Shearer or the Entertainers or Rob or whatever it might be, various different reasons, often crazy, brilliant reasons. What's your view as a proper Geordie to us imposters?
Technically, I'm born in Northumberland, so I'll probably
wow.
say so. I'm one of them as well. But no, I'd say if you can't say like, Newcastle's my team, like, I quite like Liverpool's all right and all that. So like, if you're committed to Newcastle, and that's it. But I feel it's also like a feeling, isn't it? I don't think like anyone can say whether you're a Newcastle fan or a Geordie or not. It's like there's that feeling you get like being part of that community and watching Newcastle. Like I like NFL, so I'm a Steelers fan, but I know nothing about like Pittsburgh, the city. But it was more just like the working class, similar to Newcastle. Like it's always like it's like built on like loyalty and hard work and discipline. So if you can relate to it and do that, like some of the most knowledgeable fans I've met have been like when I've been Japan, or like South Korea, and you see people who like aren't Geordies, like aren't from Newcastle, but just there's always seems to be a story of why they follow Newcastle. Like, oh, like my dad did this, or I saw this game once, or this was my first game, and I feel like as if you can say that Newcastle is your team and like explain that why, like the feeling that is that, then like I don't think anyone can tell you not.
Everyone's welcome. It's that Geordie hospitality.
definitely,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. The last question always goes to the captain. He has a fascination with people's phones.
I do. Always, yeah. So me and Alan had this thing, right, going through our careers. Always, who had the most famous person in your phone book, which went really well for me and Al for ages.
Yeah.
Until Elliot went to Wrexham.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
So he's got Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I always ask everybody now, who's the most famous person in your phone book? You haven't got to talk to them or speak to them, but who's
You've got their number.
Yeah, it would be
famous
like
person.
it'd be like Geordies though, or Newcastle players. So like be like you or Al or Fender.
and Dick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Most
no, I'm not
people
going to
do.
Deck.
Have you not?
Nah, not on like, quite that level yet. Would love to. You know, I'd always wanted to meet, and I've never met yet. Robson Green.
Really? I've
Never
got
met.
his number.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'll have to hook you up after. But yeah, we used to watch like as a family, we used to watch like Extreme Fishing and all that. And he was on there, and I saw him in the chairman suite one time. And I was chatting to someone, and as I turned around, he'd gone, and I was like, "No way, I've not met Robson Green." So
He's
He's got a show out, by the way.
lovely.
Al's
Has he
just
actually?
been on his show.
Yeah.
Really?
Al's
Yeah.
just been on it, so he'll have you on his show.
Alright.
Definitely, by the
Robson,
way.
if
There
you
you
listen
go.
to this.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, that can happen.
But yeah, I would say
That's a
that
text.
it'll be Geordies. Like obviously, like Thomas Tuchel, like England manager, is like
Yeah.
a pretty famous guy. But
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I don't think there's anyone else in there apart from Geordies. Really.
It's always nice to have a gift, right? And so what we'll do at the end of this, Dan, when we finish recording, we'll do a video message for Robson.
Yes.
And I'll WhatsApp straight away.
He will love that.
Would he?
He's
He
would
so-
love that.
oh my-
We'll
he's-
send it
he's
to
the
Robson.
biggest-
Yeah.
He will love
Biggest
it.
Newcastle
Yeah.
fan ever.
Always
yeah.
say that. Me and my wife were gutted when we were there, and I was like, "Oh, he's gone, raging." So,
Love
happy
it.
with
Proper insight into football's life.
Love it, man, love
Love it. Love it. Love it. Dan, what an amazing guest. What an amazing human being. What a superstar on the field. Please always stay in black and white. It suits you. And you wear it brilliantly, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us here on Adopted Geordies. Get involved with this episode. Share, like, tell your friends, review, subscribe, and hit us up on the socials. I've been Andy Jaye. He's been Rob Lee. And Big Dan Byrne, the maestro. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, it's
Because it sounds good pleasure as well.
Yeah.